Stuart.
Yeah.
And this might sound ignorant, but I'm really trying to make sure I know that he had the glass eye, right? He passed away recently.
He didn't have a glass eye.
He had a fake eye.
No, he didn't have a fake eye. He had an eye that was, like a lazy eye. He had a bad eye.
Oh, I thought that boy was just missing one.
No. He and then his good eye got injured, I believe, even worse because he tried out for the Jets one spring as sort of a piece to go. They would follow in cameras and to try and see how difficult it is to make a team and whatever. But Stuart literally thought he was going to make the Jets.
What could he run?
I don't. He's an excellent athlete. I mean, an excellent athlete. But to catch passes in the NFL,
yeah, across the middle.
Come on. But he would say to me, you ever ask Allen Iverson? He spoke it into existence, and he meant it.
He
meant it. Like
he had the
a hand on a stack of Bibles. He swore he was going to make it. But I was genuinely concerned because, with his eye and his eyesight. Whenever we got highlights, in the paperwork handed to us during a commercial break of these shows, we had to turn the lights up. They would turn the lights down because they're hot, and they would, during a commercial break, give us a break of the lights hitting us. But he didn't want that because he needed the light to see better. So that guy trying out and having footballs thrown at him, I told him, I'm like, really? And he didn't want to hear any nonsense about it. Yes, that's the way. Right. Right.
So you were a hater.
And a player.
In his eyes, he's like, oh, Rich.
No, of course.
Rich
he might have even used that word. He might have even used that word. And then one time a ball came out of a jugs machine and hit him in his good eye.
So you were right.
No, but it hurt him. It really hurt him.
And so he had the lazy eye, and his other eye was more injured than his lazy eye.
That was.
I don't know the science behind a lazy eye.
But long story short, though, is that guy was the greatest. And it was awesome doing shows with him.
I can't imagine having a guy like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. doing a show with him for that long. And, he's got to be one of the guys you love the most.
And the energy that he had, too.
Yeah.
It's not just that, too. He was true to himself, man, which is the greatest you could be in this world. It's just like anybody that's telling you can't or you shouldn't, or he was just absolutely pure. The guy that you saw on TV was the guy that you saw off the air, and he was awesome. There was just being around him and his personality and his essence. And again, at the time, I met my wife in the newsroom of ESPN, and it took a while till she understood what my depth of feeling for her was, and it was matched, to put it that way.
Yeah.
I was a little bit older, and so she was trying to figure out life, or at least that's the way I'm going to say it, even all these years later. But she just wanted to be just friends, to use the phrase, for a while. And Stuart,
you got friend zoned,
dude. I got friend zoned, and so Stuart though would play both of us towards the middle. Like whenever I got discouraged, hang in there. Whenever she was just like, just friends, he's just, come on, what's the big deal?
She's like, he's doing too much.
Right. Exactly. I was definitely, there's no doubt I was that guy. I think I probably told her I loved her within a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but Stuart would always play us towards the middle. And so on our wedding day, there's a photograph of Stuart, with looking at the wedding ring and holding my hand and with a big smile on his face. And part of the look on his face wasn't just like, hey, man, you finally got what you wanted, but it was a look of, we did it.
Yeah.
Like we did it.
The ultimate wingman.
Yeah, we did this, and so yeah, man, like that's Stuart, like that's real deal, where and I'm sure you could talk to a bunch of people, he would always tell you about, and it kind of would get some awkward with some people, like where he would say, when are you gonna have kids? You gotta have kids. Like, well, wait a minute, he would talk about that all the time, so when his two daughters speak about him, it's the truth, man.
That's awesome.
He's
in working in that industry with him. What are a couple of things you feel like you learned, like working beside him, especially being young?
Well, it was interesting, like he he didn't like it when so when Keith Olbermann left, there was a seat next to Dan on what was called the Big Show at the time, and I wanted it. I wanted it. The 11 o'clock Eastern, so you do it once and you go home at midnight, not stay up till 4 a.m, whatever. And he knew it, and I wanted it, and he was like why? Like, we're the Big Show. Like, what we're doing, we're more current. We're the people. Like, it had nothing against Dan. Just like, why are you going to try and fill someone else's seat when we're creating our own greatness? And I kind of sat there and I thought to myself, okay, I understand, and maybe, just maybe, that had again, circumstances were forced upon me, but to start off something with NFL Network and start something that's my own, hearing that in the back of my head, Stuart saying, we're doing something of our own, like that has value too.
Yeah.
But it was also difficult to do a show with him from time to time because I had a line, like, oh man, I was going to nail this line. I had a great line, all prepped for the highlights, and prepped to do it. And he would jump in. He would start talking over my highlight.
He would steal your line.
No, I wouldn't steal my line. He would just burst in because that was his personality. It's not like it was about him, but that was his style, is to jump into my stuff. And it took a while for me to have to not get pissed off about it.
Did he ever know that?
I would say it to him from time to time, like, what's up with that, and he would just smile.
Man, what's up with that? What do you mean?
Because again, like, you don't want to stunt any chemistry. You know what I mean? And also, how do you say that without basically saying, "Hey, man, that's my highlight. It's my time."
Yeah.
Without
sounding.
When his response would probably be, like, you can do that with me too. So yeah. But just one last story about Stuart, just to show you about some of the stuff that he was dealing with at the time and negotiating so expertly, is his pop culture phrases would be for a lot of the African-American viewing public. And that would make a lot of people who were watching the show, or, whites, say, he's not doing the show for me.
Yeah. He's
doing it for someone else. And that's suddenly now the show that I thought was for me is not for me anymore. And he would be the avatar for that sort of thing. And I mean, of course he cared, but it didn't change a thing for him. And a perfect example of how it would make him bristle a little bit, because it was unfair, to be honest, straight up honest, because, he was doing it in the manner, not just he's doing it for himself, like, that's him, that's his fingerprint, that's his essence, that's his DNA on the screen. Okay. And so the fact that it would be a criticism for him was difficult for him to swallow, but it never made him waver. So I remember, again, this is the late 90s, so I would do a Seinfeld line, a line from Seinfeld, which is a show Jerry Seinfeld hosted.
Show about nothing.
Right. So hosted, he starred and he wrote.
Yeah.
Oh
Cars.
Kevin Hart?
Similar
God.
white.
Guys.
Oh.
Yeah, different jokes.
Holy shit.
Different jokes.
At any
Hey,
rate,
what's the deal with airplane
Seinfeld
food?
was a very popular show. #1 on TV.
Yeah.
So I would use a
Better
line
Friends?
from Seinfeld. It was after. It was
Before.
Before Friends.
Before Friends.
Okay. Must see TV Thursday night on NBC. Anyway, so don't pop Seinfeld
B movie.
up. B movie
The
is
B
not
movie.
the Seinfeld.
That actually did really well. That did really well.
What's the matter
That
with you?
movie did well.
That's
What is the matter
Seinfeld?
with no?
That's Seinfeld. Looks very similar.
Okay.
What the hell?
Mouth open all the time.
I mean, honestly, that's almost as bad. Like, I'm talking about De Niro movie, and you're going to put up like War with Grandpa or something. Come on, man. There you go. There's Seinfeld right there.
He's
That's
the one,
what I'm
he's
talking
the bald
about.
one in the middle.
Oh my God. No, he's the one on the right.
No, this one right here. That's
That's
Jerry.
No, it's not. That's George.
No, George is on the right.
No, That's Jerry.
That's Costanza.
Please tell me you're doing
right
a bit.
there.
Oh
no,
my
no, no.
God.
It's just
Oh
I want Will. I want to
God.
culture Will up. I want him to know.
I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, big show.
And De Niro, are we talking Meet the Parents?
Holy shit.
Yes.
Yes, we're talking
yes.
Meet the
Meet the
Parents.
Fockers.
And Meet the Fockers. Yes.
Hold on
Great
a second.
movies.
We're going to put a
I
pin
think
in
those
this
are the only
conversation.
two he did though.
I
Let
think
me just-
those were his breakthrough roles.
He went on the screen, did those two, and then he came off the screen. I think I hung him up after that.
Okay.
Yeah. Man, I love that we're teaching Will a little something here.
At any
We're
rate,
actually Rich too.
At any rate, Stuart, I made a line from Seinfeld. We rolled a break, commercial break. Mics are off, and he turns to me and goes, "What was that?" And I'm like, "That was a line from Seinfeld from a couple weeks ago." And he looks at me and goes, "Seinfeld, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Brothers don't watch Seinfeld." That's what he said. And it kind of like hit me. I'm like, okay, so I'm giving a pop culture line that I feel is, relatable from the audience, that they'll get it. And he's basically saying there's a lot of people out there not going to get it. And so when I say something a lot of people don't get, I'm the asshole. Like essentially was the subtext of what he said in just that little moment.
Did you start watching Martin after that?
Good one.
Thank you.
Good one, man.